welcome to this week's episode of Lunker Junkies TV. This week we're up on Roosevelt Reservoir in Cooley Dam, Washington. We're fishing for big kokanee. We're out with our good buddy Gary Morales of Shasta Tackle. We got Canadian Jim Sutherland come down to fish with us. He's the one who brought his boat down, put us on a fish. Now Jim Sutherland is well known in the kokanee world for catching big trophy kokanee. He catches a lot of them. Just monster fish. The guy's really good at finding trophy kokanee. So Jim's got some good pointers in this episode for us. Really nice guy. Really had a blast out with him. So here's the rod we're using out here on Roosevelt. This is the Lamaglass Tournament Kokanee rod. Now Jim Sutherland actually uses Lamaglass steelhead rods like the Certified Pros and some of the bigger steelhead rods. Of course, lighter action, but for those big fish, the steelhead rods were working pretty good. Jim kind of batted his eye at me bringing this kokanee rod out. He's like, I don't know, you might break that thing. I said, don't discredit it. This little rod's this tough little rod. You're not going to break this rod, and it is fun on those big kokanee. So halfway through the first day, Jim's landing a fish on this rod. God, I like that rod. This thing's a lot of fun. So these rods are the ticket for catching kokanee of any size. And the bigger the kokanee, the more fun it is on this rod. Now Jim was running Tikka line counter reels, about the size of this Tikka Cayman, with line counters on them. First time I ever messed around with Tikka, you know, we've been looking for a reel company to represent for a while, and I used those Tikkas and just fell in love with them. So I actually met with Alex, one of the owners of Tikka, while I was up there and put a deal together with him. So Tikka just came on board with us. These are the Tikka Caymans. We use these a little bit up on Merwin, and really happy with them. These Tikka reels are dynamite. You can find these Tikka reels, you can get them on Amazon or the Tikka USA website. The Lamaglass Tournament Kokanee rods, get them at your local buy mart, best deal around. Of course, we're using sling blades, wiggle hoochies. Shasta Tackle stuff was dynamite, little wiggle hoochies, caught a lot of fish. Of course, tipping those with some corn and a bait button. Now these guys hadn't used bait buttons. As anybody that fishes kokanee knows, one of the big problems is they come up and steal your corn and don't get a hook. Well, throw your couple kernels of scented corn on there, secure it up on the hook with a bait button, and reduces them stealing your bait without getting a hook by a bunch. A lot more hookups when you put bait buttons in the equation. Procure scents. You know, we had 4 or 5 different varieties of corn, scented up with different Procure oils. Jim and Gary were all about the bloody tuna and had a couple others. I like the kokanee special, but always get your varieties of corn and set them up with different Procure scents. And then you'll find that 1 or 2 are hitting more than the others, and then just stick with those. But always go out with a few. One thing that I never knew is these guys were using some of the big Shasta Tackle stuff, the big salmon steelhead sling blades and wiggle hoochies, and they were hooking some big kokanee on them. So, you know, you learn something new every trip. Even I still do. And don't hesitate to throw a couple rods with the big stuff down there and hunt for those big trophies. Big fish will hit big baits. Just a whole lot of fun. So we got a great show lined out for you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Lunker Junkies TV.
Fish on! Oh. Salmon shark! Salmon shark! Yeah! Woo! That's what you come to Alaska for right there, baby. Woo!
Lunker Junkies TV is brought to you by Mart. Get ready for your season for less. Procure bait scents and cures, ruthlessly effective. Lamaglass rods, fish with confidence. Yakima Bait Company, home of the rooster tail. Shasta Tackle, inventor of the sling blade. Bait buttons, because presentation matters. B&R Tackle, inventor of the steelhead holy worm. Northwest Sportsman Magazine, chock full of tips, tricks, and useful information. Fish Seward, Alaska, and Oregon Fishing Adventure. Power Drifter Boats, The Real Tech, and Hypnotic Customs Design and Graphics.
So bad.
Well, Jim, I'm looking at this wiggle hoochie, and of course I have very good success in Kokanee with the wiggle hoochie. It's a very good lure for that, but I've noticed you modified it a bit. You got a little extra mylar in there.
I put a little extra splash in it
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, that's good. You know, I've done that with our larger ones for salmon out in the ocean.
Right.
It's very effective, and I notice more guys are starting to do it on the small ones too.
I'll show you in a few minutes here. I'll dig out one of your 4-inch that I did exactly what you're talking about.
Now,
it works.
When you're talking 4-inch wiggle hoochies for kokanee, we're talking some large kokanee. I hope we
You're
can get some of those today.
We'll put one on and see what we can do.
That'd be great.
We're, one other thing, these aren't California put and take kokanee up here, okay?
They've got some big fish.
These are Lamaglass steelhead rods, not kokanee rods.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I noticed that.
A little more backbone.
Also, I noticed on the sling blade here, you added some of your own tapes.
Right.
That's real popular with a lot of guys. You'll see this all the time and come out and they'll got the sling blades with all different type tapes and stuff. Even though we probably have 60 colors, you know, and styles in them. A lot of guys do this. That's great.
Okay, we'll get that one in. Now maybe I better take it.
Well, that crazy in a while.
Now that's on a Lamaglass steelhead rod, and look at the way
Look at
that
this
rod's
thing.
bending.
This thing is flat pulling line, man.
They do, man.
Now listen to that.
Wow.
I put that clicker on just so you could hear it. Look at that. Now that is a fight. This is not a small kokanee. Look at that.
Oh, we're going to get a
Woo,
bigger
Jim.
one there, Morales.
And guess what this puppy hit? Remember we were talking about which rod was going to get hit first?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I like this. That's got some weight on it. That's that sling blade with that modified pink wiggle hoochie. That is one of my favorite lures overall for kokanee. And the nice thing about that lure is it'll catch anything. I've used that thing for trout. I've even out at Shasta Lake, be out there fishing for trout, and I'll hit big old bass on them. Never know what you'll get on that. Yeah.
He's got you at a standstill.
Yeah, this fish, I'm taking my time with it because that's one thing about kokanee fishing. You saw how crazy that fish was getting back there? Mm-hmm. Let him get crazy back there, because when he gets to the back of the boat here, let him wear himself out there, because this is a critical spot. Once you get him in the back, that's where you're usually going to lose him. So this fish is about ready. We need to grab the net. Here we go.
Well, that's a good
beautiful
one.
Fish. Oh,
Come on, man.
Well, I tell you.
Nice, guy.
Well, look at the weight on that.
Let's see that one when I get.
Lakes that produce kokanee this size, this early in the year, that gives you an idea of what you're going to be looking at here in August or later in the year. That fish is as big as you're going to get anywhere normally in the fall. And that's a spring fish. And look at the girth and the weight on it. Beautiful fish. Yeah, those double hooks, that's one of the problems. And he only had the back hook, but you can see that, let's go ahead and pull that hook out of the fish's mouth. Oh, there we go.
Here's a pair of pliers.
Yeah, go ahead and take that hook out.
Okay.
You can see Jim's using a good quality hook on there, and that's important with kokanee.
That's that. And I'll tell you, Gary, I believe this. Too many people fishing fish like this are using too small a hooks.
Yep.
That's a number 1 hook.
Yeah,
that's not a
exactly.
number 2 or a 4 or a 6.
Yeah, you don't need to.
It's turn. Get him on the drop. What you doing on there?
Got a fish on there.
Break off your lure.
Oop, there you go.
That's actually looks heavier than the last one.
It's a nice fish.
Same lure.
Oh yeah, this is the.
That's a 19-inch kokanee.
Hey, Gary.
19-inch kokanee. That's a beautiful fish.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually switch over to our UV sling blade, and I'm gonna try the humdinger here. Now the UV sling blade, well, all our sling blades basically, the ones at least that have the tape, are made out of a bendable stainless. And what I like to do, because we're trolling slower, I generally like to put an extra bend to it. You can actually take the back there and bend it. It bends quite easily. Some guys will even break and bend the nose down as well and make it fish almost like more of the conventional style Dodger. But I like to keep it more of this. It's got less drag when you hook up. But what that does is that'll throw a bigger action at slower speeds. Quite often kokanee fishing, we're running more down to 1.2 miles an hour up to 1.5. The sling blade is designed to run in its normal patent design is up to about 2.5 miles an hour, 1.5 to 2.5. So by adding that bend, now we can fish them slower. And then I'm going to try the humdinger today. The humdinger is a slim profile type bait. Generally when we fish these, we're going to run them faster speeds. It's designed to be fished at 1.5 to 2.5 miles an hour. And it has very little action when you slow down to 1-2. But what I do then when I'm kokanee fishing with them, I like to run them on a short leader. Normally a lure that has action like that, we'll usually run it, you know, as much as 3-4 times the length of the Dodger. Well, because this lure needs a little more action to it, I run it closer, more like you would a lure without an action, like a hoochie or a coconut or things like that. Let's see what it does.
Are you running this one on the downrigger?
Yeah.
Gary mentioned you can bend this nose down a little bit. Now, if you're just flatlining this setup out the back, that's where bending this nose down comes in real handy, because it'll make it dive a little bit, almost like a crankbait, and get it down a couple feet under the water. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, it does, because the sling blades are designed to kind of lift.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do.
But when I flatline them, like even salmon fish,
Yeah.
and I'll bend that nose down, I notice I'll get that 2-3 feet right under the surface.
That's right.
These things are so manipulative. You can do anything you want with them. That's what's neat about them. And then you can straighten them right back out to the way they came out of the package.
Yeah.
And you can bend these 100 times and they'll never break.
Yeah, and you can take them right back if you want to go back to running fast. You can straighten them right back out.
This is probably the only attractant I've ever used, the big ones and the little ones, and I've never broke one.
Yeah.
I haven't. I wore them out.
Yeah.
Never broke one.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. Guys are out there trying to bend them, and I've got them from. There's other companies making similar Dodgers to ours. They'll come back. I get them sent to me, and I go, "Sorry, partner, I'd love to replace that,
but it ain't mine.
But that's not mine.
Yeah.
You know, mine are made out of stainless. They won't break.
Yeah.
You know?
Some of the others, they'll start cracking. You bend them
Yeah,
a few times, they'll
that's
start
right.
cracking in here. I've never broke one of those.
That's exactly.
We got a fish on.
Look at they're jumpers.
Grab
Jumpers.
Oh, you should. Oh, is he gone? No, this. Look at that.
Yeah.
God, these fish are on fire. I tell you what, Jim, this is insane. You want this fish, Jim? You got him, but he was out yesterday. Look at him. He's like, oh, I got to have all kinds of fun yesterday. I tell you, Jim, you have really put the cut. Oh, no! Oh, doggone it.
Did he come off?
Oh, yeah, that was.
He's on it.
Got
No,
another
on
one.
there. Here, give me
Hold
this one,
on,
Gary.
buddy. What are we
See,
doing?
this is what happened
This is
yesterday.
insane.
This is what happened when you go by a place. It was bang, bang.
Hey, I think I lost that one, too.
Oh,
What the
Morales,
hell?
I got to go on the rod.
That
This
is
old
that
Canadian,
is
this old Canadian is going to have to go on the rod and show this guy how it's done.
I just barely grabbed that guy. These things, though, they're coming out of the water like tarpon. How are you going to keep them on unless they get those 2 hooks in their mouth? Wow, that's exciting. Real. Whoa,
whoa,
here we go,
fish on.
Jim. Get your rod, Jim.
Jim's rod.
I told you.
I told you. I about went overboard.
This is my rod. I'm setting it up. This is going to be the big one. Leave it.
I about went overboard.
Beautiful fish. Look at that. And you know what? This is a bow. They got rainbow in here too. Look at this.
Nice.
Look at that.
Nice.
That's a pretty trout. Look how slender he is.
Wasn't as fast.
That is a nice bow.
Yeah, it is. That
Oh,
one
you
looks like
should've
it
seen
just. That one looks like it just came back from spawning, huh?
There you go.
That's why I run the Lamaglass, the Steelhead series.
Nice.
That's a good Dodger.
This?
That should be
No.
going just
I
past
just,
that. There it is.
This one. There's another one.
Yeah. Woo! Another big eye. We're tearing them up right now.
Nice.
This is on fire. We just barely get fish in, and we're sitting there getting ready to do a little dilly over here. Now we got another one on. And these aren't just little fish. These things are huge. Oh, dude!
you
I had that crippler on right on the surface. This guy's gonna buy a ranch back about 200 feet. And all of a sudden we're looking back, way back, you can hardly see that fish coming up out of the water. And man, he was looking like, these fish are like tarpon in here. It's crazy.
How do you like that llama glass rod, Gary?
You know, it's got a good action to it. It's nice, soft. You know, when you're looking for a kokanee rod, you want to definitely have a rod that's got a soft action to it. There it is. He's not done yet.
Not done yet.
Whoa! Yeah, look at the
Good
size of this fish.
Wow.
Man, look at the weight on him. Now, I'll tell you what. Remember what I said earlier about a crippler? That lure for me will always put big fish in the boat. It'll always put fish in the boat. Hands down, probably the most underappreciated kokanee lure on the market today.
Hey, you get that fish in your hands and I'll put a cape on it.
All right.
That's a nice fish.
That's
Oh, they're packed in here. Okay, that is
19.
a true
19.
19-inch fish.
Yep. And look at the weight on it. I mean, that fish is over 2 pounds.
That's a nice fish.
Now that particular lure right there is a glow redhead. It's actually a glow in the dark. You know, it was cloudy earlier this morning. It's one of the reasons I put it on. But there's something about that white and glow combination.
Get a good shot.
It always seems to work really well. You know, Rocky, I actually invented that lure when I was 16 years old.
In your bathtub.
Yes, that's right. And that's the lure I started the company with back then.
Caught a lot of fish on this lure. So you can pitch this lure, you can work it, you know, twitch it. There's just so many things you can do with this lure. It's a good, versatile lure.
There you go.
Always puts fish in a boat. This is a rod we caught that kokanee on. This is Llama Glass's tournament kokanee rod. It's a 7/6 rod, 4 to 8 pound. This rod is fun on these big kokanee. This rod is strong. You could catch steelhead on this rod. You're not going to break it. It's a good sturdy rod, good action to it. Just a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun on this rod, huh, Gary?
Yeah, oh yeah, we did.
Yep.
I was watching that eagle about to take, I guess that fish didn't do that.
Look at the action you got in the tip of this rod and the backbone you still got for hook set, and to get them in, it's just a great kokanee rod.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And it was fun too.
Yep. Very rarely will you lose fish on that rod. It's got so much forgiveness.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what you want with kokanee right
Yeah.
there. Okay, one thing I want to talk about today, out here kokanee fishing, you're seeing us put corn on the hooks here. And there's a lot of different scents that are available out there. ProCure, for me, is by far the best scent out there. But I'll tell you, any scent out there is better than no scent. And right now you can see we've got just a couple different selections here. Quite often I'll come out with 4 or 5 or even 6 different flavors. Obviously Jim has got some proven combinations here and they've been working today. But you can see right here we have a krill, and it's kind of pink. Basically take little containers like this and put your corn in there, let it sit overnight. It has to be show peg corn, white corn. And put that in there and let it sit overnight, keep it in the fridge, and then you're ready to go the next day. Over here we have bloody tuna, all right? He's still using pink coloring in it, but it's a different total scent. Now you wonder, bloody tuna for kokanee? Are you kidding? Yeah, actually the first time I tried it, I was kind of going, really, could this work? And I tell you, it does. Can I explain why? No, but if you're successful on it, there you go. Now, one of the other scents that we don't have here right now that I like to use a lot out here is garlic. Garlic plus, garlic krill. You can basically mix them up however you want. But the key here is have a multitude of different scents and go through them, try them on your lures, and then if you find a scent that's consistently working like we have today, then stick with that.
Hey guys, Randy Wells, Lunker Junkies TV. You see me in a few episodes here and there, and in case you didn't know, I'm also a full-time fishing guide in both Oregon and Alaska. In Alaska, you can visit my website at fishsewardalaska.com. It's based out of Seward, chasing halibut, lingcod, rockfish, and salmon. We're also based out of Southern Oregon in the fall for fall salmon and winter steelhead fishing, OregonFishingAdventure.com. Check it out. If you'd ever like to do a great fishing trip, let me know. Now stay tuned for more Lunker Junkies TV.
Yeah, we just put it out there.
Yeah,
Oh no, that's the. Wait, don't take it.
I didn't.
That's a good fish.
You guys
Yeah.
are pretty hard to
Is
handle.
that humdinger? Or
That's the one you
wiggle?
just put in.
Oh, that's what we just put in?
Yeah, with the orange.
Jim, that's
Yeah.
that orange one. You were right.
Yeah.
That wasn't in the water 5
Why
minutes.
am I not surprised?
Good call.
Well, now he's getting crazy.
Yeah, getting busy. That's the thing about kokanee, man. Pound for pound, they fight.
Yeah.
And these fish are exceptionally mean out here. It must be this cold water.
Yeah. It's starting to warm
Unless
up.
these are all those triploids they've been talking about. Those things they're on steroids out here. I love it. Yeah, buddy, look at that.
wanted to take
Whoa,
them
look at the size of these fish.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell you, for April,
Wow.
I mean, these are fish that you'd be proud to catch like in August continually.
It's early in the season. Great. Well, if I land this will be my first coat. So.
Oh, wow, you're kidding.
Nope.
There you go, buddy.
That's
Oh,
it.
and it's a beauty, too. As you can see, that orange and glow was quick.
Wow.
Oh, we just barely had it out there.
What
went
the,
out there 5
what
minutes.
the orange and glow depicts, okay, that's the plankton that's in this water.
There you go.
Okay, that's why orange,
Yep.
straight orange,
Yep.
but orange and glow is a real good. Plankton.
And that is very real. And that's why I think I'm
Hey,
gonna
we
put
got a fish
orange-
on that rod right there.
There we go. Well, we'll get back to that one.
We'll be back, yeah. Yeah, let me-
Boy, Jim, I tell you what, man, you are really getting us into him today.
Yes, he is.
You're doing a fine job.
Great
man.
job.
And I tell you, I have not had this much fun in ages. So this is just great.
I just take a simple FST from Yakima, take the hook off, and make myself a very, very simple codger. Spinner Hoochie, FST, and UT. It works.
Lunker Junkies TV is brought to you by Mark. Get ready for your season for less. Procure Bait Sense and Cures, ruthlessly effective. Lamaglass Rods, fish with confidence. Yakima Bait Company, home of the rooster tail. Shasta Tackle, inventor of the sling blade. Bait Buttons, because presentation matters. B&R Tackle, inventor of the steelhead holy worm. Northwest Sportsman Magazine, chock full of tips, tricks, and useful information. Fish Seward, Alaska, and Oregon Fishing Adventure. Power Drifter Boats, The Real Tech, and Hypnotic Customs Design and Graphics. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you learned a couple tips and tricks from old Gary and Jim. Those are two dynamite kokanee fishermen together. Kind of a privilege to be able to fish with them two in the same spot, because guy can't help but to learn a lot when he's out with them. Special thanks to the Cooley House Inn for putting us up there in Cooley Dam, Washington, right down the road from Roosevelt Lake. Great place to stay, nice clean rooms. If you ever get up there and fish Roosevelt Lake, be sure and check them out. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next week.
Born to be fishermen. We were born to be fishermen. So come along with me on Lunker Junkies. On Lunker Junkies.